everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have my friend Anneliese with me. She's a nurse practitioner. She lives in Charlotte, a yoga enthusiast who's been to India lately, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Okay.
So Anneliese, first of all, let's talk about acro yoga.
Okay.
How long have you been doing acro yoga for?
So I've actually only been doing acro yoga for about a year.
Okay.
Which is kind of surprising because I got obsessed with it a little bit and up-leveled my skills. But yeah, so I've been doing it for a year. Acro yoga, for people that don't know, is a mixture between yoga and partner acrobatics. So it does involve two people, sometimes three. It's really fun. Usually somebody's in the air, sometimes someone's getting pops, and so I just really liked it and went crazy over the last year. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So just for people to know, so Anneliese was one of the first people who introduced me to acro yoga. She's a great teacher. Even though she says 1 year, people would not believe it. She's amazing at it. And so how was the whole India journey? How did it start? What prompted it?
Well, so it's interesting because Victoria and Brian are two yoga teachers that are here in Charlotte that we both attend their classes on occasion. They put it out there that they were going to be going to India. This was over a year ago, and I was like, should I go, should I not? But I wasn't really sure. And then at that time they did some type of discount code, if you sign up now it'll be whatever, $100 cheaper, $200 cheaper. And I was like, I think I should go. And so I just signed up for whatever little down payment thing. And then as it got closer and I was making those payments, I was like, wow, I'm really going to India. It was just kind of a spur of the moment, maybe right place, right time. But later, when I came back from India, I was going through some old journals because I journal a lot, and it was, I want to say 2016, it was where 3 places that I wanted to go before I died, and it was India, Bali, and Africa. So I've gone to India and Bali, so now Africa
is next
on my vision board.
Nice. So how was the process? Did you have to get a visa or something?
Yeah, so that was actually my first experience with getting a visa. I've traveled a lot of places, but I didn't realize visa on arrival, I thought that was a thing. This is the first time I've had to apply beforehand. And there was a couple people on our trip that got denied.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was a lot of the denials was because of if the photo wasn't perfect, or if it wasn't the right, I don't know, megapixels or something when you upload it. It is a website, so that's nice. You don't have to go to an embassy or something. But if you got denied, you do have to go to the embassy. So one of the people, Titus, that we went on the trip with is he's a really good photographer, and so we just all went to his house. He scanned my passport, took my picture, and made sure it was the perfect megapixel. So that was a pretty easy process. Well, the pictures were easy, but navigating the website was kind of hard because it kept crashing. And they did the people that organized the trip for us told us to be patient, and so literally it took me 30 minutes to hit this one button and have it not crash, and I have to reload it, fill everything again. So it was annoying but not terrible.
Yeah, 30 minutes not that bad.
Yeah, I know.
I've spent way longer times coming to the US.
Oh, I'm sure.
Getting visas.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
But yeah, so you took a flight to Delhi?
Yeah.
So was it a direct flight? I don't think Charlotte has direct flights.
No, there is no direct flight to India. So it was Charlotte to New York, and then New York to New Delhi. My layover in New York was really long, but I ended up meeting up with some other people that were also flying to India. Cool. We just ended up on different flights, so that was cool. And I actually met up with someone in New York and did acro yoga.
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, there's a separate Facebook group. It's called Flying to Fly, and you just put what airport you're gonna be in, and someone can meet up with you.
Did you do any acro at the New York airport? Oh, that's so cool. That's really hilarious.
It was just a random person that was he was dropping his friend off at the airport while I was there for a long layover, and he was if you want to leave the airport and just come hang out in the front, I'll do acro with you. And so I spent an hour or two doing acro, and then went back in.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
So you land in New Delhi. How was your first experience? How was it when you got out of the airport?
So my first New Delhi, the airport was really pretty. A lot of the Hindu gods and the statues and everything. It was the airport was really nice. And then I walked out into New Delhi, and they did warn me about the air quality.
Yes.
But I was like not prepared. They told us to like bring masks and stuff like that, which I did. And then it was, because I lived in California, and so I've dealt with like that kind of smog, so I thought it would be similar, and it was like not similar at all. I mean, it was hazy, and it was like kind of hard to breathe, but it wasn't like terrible, but I was like, you know, and it was really loud. Those are the two things, and I was like, the air quality, I was like, oh wow, it's like worse than I expected. And the honking was like constant, and I just like I was like, it is so loud here, but I think I was just like really excited, kind of jet lagged, and just like looking around at everything, you know,
in amazement. And
yeah, like I was like, I can't believe I'm here.
Yeah, I must tell you, the honking gets to me too. Like I grew up in India, like I used to honk a lot too.
Yeah, okay.
And then when I come back, and then when I go back and drive, people are like, you need to honk, and I'm like, yeah, but
you forget, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize, so when you learn to drive, they teach you to honk when you're passing.
Correct.
Right, and like here we just use blinkers. So then like once you like understand why they're honking, it's not just like constant, incessant like it's because like that's what they're taught to do. Then it just kind of like fades into the background.
The side.
Yeah.
So were you in Delhi? How many days were you in Delhi?
So we were actually only in New Delhi for a day. We just like got there, stayed the night, and then went back to the airport the next day to catch like a domestic flight to
Varanasi. Yeah.
So we were just like, I didn't even do anything. Like I got to the hotel, it was pretty late when we landed, said hello to people, and then like I showered and just pretty much passed out. Like I was not human.
I can understand. Like I've got used to it because I've gone so many times. I have another flight from Delhi too. It's another like I usually have a 6-hour layover. To go to South India, so where I am from. So I can totally relate with that. And so Varanasi, how long were you in Varanasi for?
Varanasi, I think we were there for like 3 or 4 days. So that's like the holiest city in India, is that correct?
Yeah.
So I will be honest, I didn't like do my research of like where we were going. Like it was just, I'm going to like experience what it is. And so Varanasi was like very impressionable on me because it was my first experience of like being so immersed within like the Hindu religion. And like all the holy men that were there. What are they called again? I forget.
Like the sadhus?
Sadhus, and just like that whole, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that I was explaining what a sadhu is like when you're in your life and you just feel like this is like not your dharma, like you just want to like pull out and like wait for like your next life.
Correct.
You can like pull back from your worldly belongings, your job, your loved ones, and you just like take what like the gods provide you, essentially.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, they're just they don't have any wealth, no family, they give up everything, like yogi, sadhu kind of thing. So did you go to the you were there during the Sun Festival? We met for breakfast one of the days.
Yes. So we were there during the Sun Festival, but there was something that happened that it wasn't like, it was like rescheduled or something like that. Like
I'm unaware of, about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, maybe it was our schedule was rescheduled.
Chhat Puja, you remember?
Yeah,
it was called Chhat Puja. I don't know the details of it though.
Yeah, so we were there for that. We were supposed to go like on the Ghats and like go into like the Ganga and like see it from the Ganga, but for some reason when we went, like nothing was happening, and it was happening like the next day. So I don't know if we just got the time wrong or like whatever, but I didn't. So that was like one thing about bathing in the Ganga. So that's like, the Ganga is like the holy river of like India. But pretty much all rivers are holy in a way. Right, but that's like the most holy. So there's these people, I mean old people are like, and these ghats are like docks, but it's really like these like large like hills down with these big steps, like it's like stairs, but the steps are like this big, and you see like these old 80 and 90-year-old people coming down with empty jugs to bathe in the Ganga and then bring the full jugs back to whatever their house is. So that was like, I think like the devotional aspect of Varanasi was like really beautiful, because you don't like, in the United States, it kind of made me feel, you know, like white toast. Like, you know, like there was no like what devotions do you see like that every day? I'm Catholic, or was raised Catholic, and so you can go to mass every day if you want, but it's like I feel like with Hinduism, it feels almost like on another level because they do their like daily pujas, like their baths every day, and then there's still like other pujas that they do like within the home, and like it seems very like ritualistic, traditional, and like I don't know, beautiful.
I'm glad you liked it. It was my first time in Varanasi too.
Okay.
I loved it. Yeah, it was amazing. Like the ghats, there were so many of them, and it was built like a few hundred years ago, I guess. Yeah, and still so relevant. Did you go to the? You saw the Ganga Aarti from the boat?
Yes. So the Ganga Aarti is the like the crematorium?
No, it's not the thing where they move like fire around and facing the Ganges. They pray to the Ganges.
Oh yeah, no, we weren't able to see that.
Oh, you weren't?
Or maybe we did. Maybe I'm getting my cities confused.
Or maybe in a different city.
Yeah,
Maybe
like I know we did see another like a different.
Did you do the place where the crematorium? Did you go to the crematorium place?
Yeah, so we did see that from the Ganga. We also like passed through there. The way it was explained to us is that like women really shouldn't be there.
That's correct.
So out of like respect for that, like we passed through just to pass to like experience what it would be like and like to see. But we didn't like stay for long, and like the way that was explained to me, so you can tell me if this is true or not, is like women, because we have a womb, that like if the spirit, like the person that has passed and doesn't want to go on to the next life, they can't attach themselves to like a womb of a woman, but they want to like stay in this life. So that's why like women shouldn't like be in those areas, because there's like spirits that could want to stay, that like don't want to leave this like dharma, I guess.
Yeah, I was unaware of that.
Yeah, so that's what we were told. But while we were like walking towards like the crematorium, because everyone is, not everyone, but in the Hindu religion, everyone is cremated except for like certain people, right?
There are like people are burnt on a pyre and then cremated. I don't know how they differentiate what to do, but that's what happens. But a lot of people get burned on the pyre is by one of those guards, and also a lot of people bring their parents' ashes or like their family, the dead person's ashes, and leave it in the Ganga.
Okay. Yeah. It was very like, that was a little bit, I don't want to say the word like freaky, but it felt more like, because it wasn't, to me it's like a funeral, you know what I mean? And it was like, if people from India came to the United States, would they go and like look at someone's funeral? Like maybe they would find it interesting the way we like bury people, but I kind of felt like, like these people are sad, they're like burying their loved ones. Correct. So I didn't feel like it was something that I wanted to like, I did want to see it because it was like different from what we do here, but it's not something that I wanted to like hang out in, you know what I mean?
So the only reason they do it there is people believe they'll go to heaven, like if you have the last rites performed on those gods.
Well, the thing that I thought was really cool is like the immediacy of it. Like the faster you get there with like your loved one, it's like the better for them to like go to heaven or like whatever. So as like when someone dies, they like, what I was explaining is that like the women have like a almost like a wailing, like a crying ceremony. Not ceremony, but they're like crying because they're very upset, and the women kind of like comfort each other. And then it's they clean the body, and when the body's like finished and like dressed and adorned, however, then like the men in the family will literally pick the body, like obviously with some type of like system, and it's covered, and then they like run to the ghats, chanting some prayer to like keep the soul within the body, because you don't want the soul to leave too soon and like get stuck here. And so while we were walking towards the ghats, you heard, and they were literally running. Like when she said it was like time was of the importance, like they were literally like running. Wow. Yeah, so that was like, it just felt like I was like, we should, I don't know. It was a great experience. I'm glad that I was there. But
nice. So from Varanasi, where did you go next?
From Varanasi, we went to Khajuraho, which is, we went to see the Tantra temples, which are like I mean, I had heard of them because of they have like the sexual images
Okay.
on the temples, but that's like not all of them. Like it's these like gorgeous temples that like you don't even know like how they're made because they're like literally thousands of years old and they're like still standing, still beautiful. And they do have like sculptures, like the way it looks like it's like Lego bricks is like the way it was built. Like they were built these like sculptures and then they fit into each other like Lego bricks and then it like creates this like beautiful temple. I'll send you some pictures. So
Sure.
I can, like,
Yeah.
probably not explaining it like the best.
No, that's fine. Like I've never been myself,
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
I was only in Varanasi and Rishikesh this
Okay,
time.
yeah.
But yeah, eventually at some point in my life, I would love to go.
I would definitely go. Khajuraho is cool because of obviously going to see those temples and like just hearing the history because like we see them and they're just kind of like whatever stones that are like local from the area. But what it's like previously there was like gold and emeralds and like everything was adorned with like these like semi-precious like metals and jewels. And it wasn't until the Mongols, I think, came and kind of took over India for a little while, and then they kind of and like India has been taken over like more than once by Britain too, and like they've taken those jewels away.
Correct.
And the only reason we knew that those were there was because of the stories that were told, like the history that they took down, like what the temples used to look like.
Correct. That's right.
It was still beautiful, but then just like knowing that there was like emeralds and all kinds of stuff like hanging from stuff, I couldn't even imagine. Yeah.
So, how long were you guys in Khajuraho?
I think we were in Khajuraho for like a shorter amount of time. We didn't do as much. One thing that I did experience there, that I thought was really cool, this ended up being more of like, I thought it was going to be more of a yoga retreat, but for me it definitely was more of like a Indian culture, like immersive experience was Jainism, which is a religion that I had never even heard of. Until I went there, and we went to a Jain temple, and it was their main like point or like I don't even know system of their religion is like ahimsa or like non-violence. So it's like extreme non-violence. So they learn to like sleep on like one side because they don't want to like roll over in their sleep and like accidentally like kill a bug. They use these like feather dusters with like peacock feathers, and they will dust the floor in front of their feet to make sure that they don't accidentally step on any animals. They're like vegans but more extreme. I want to say it's sattvic. I might be
Sattvic.
Yeah. So they believe they only eat vegetables or like fruit that are from above ground. Yeah, because anything that's grown in the ground, that's like the womb of the earth. So it still has like a soul. You know? So they don't eat like garlic, potatoes. So they have an even stricter like vegan diet. They don't wear. Well, they do wear some clothes, but some of like the Jains that are more devout like strip themselves of clothes. So they are naked. Like even in the winter. And yeah, so that was very interesting.
Well, I know a little bit like about their dietary habits and stuff, but this is more informative. So from Khajuraho, where did we go next?
So Khajuraho, then we went to Rishikesh.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about Rishikesh. So, I'm sure you loved Rishikesh.
Yeah, so Rishikesh was very cool. I would say it's the most like tourist friendly place that we went to. The other places were, not that nowhere was tourist friendly, but we were like, there wasn't as many tourists as there was in Rishikesh. Very yoga centric for sure. There was some acro yoga there. I tried to reach out to a couple people, but it didn't work out that we weren't able to do anything. Really good bookstores, cafes that were like, like different types of cuisine, stuff
catered
like that.
to Western tourists.
Yeah. But it was really beautiful. I mean, you're in the mountains. The river is like gorgeous. It was like sunny. It was kind of warm. You could like, I assume you could swim in the river. It was a little cold when we went. But like it
was cold. Yeah, maybe in the summer for sure. Do you guys go to the Beatles cafe?
Yes. Oh no, we didn't. Not to the cafe, but like the Beatles temple.
Oh, okay. I didn't go to the Beatles temple. I went to the Beatles cafe.
Oh no, I didn't know there was a Beatles cafe.
So they play Beatles songs. They have all the Beatles albums on the walls.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, we didn't go. We did go to the Beatles like ashram, which is the ashram where they stayed, where they like wrote one of the albums or whatever, which is really cool. It's like the buildings there are really cool and the setup is great. Like I was kind of surprised. I was like, why isn't this still an ashram? I think it ended because like their guru either like passed or and it kind of like fell away after that. But the grounds that they have, the views of like the river, because that's still the Ganga,
yes.
like up in Rishikesh, it's just higher up. But I was like, I would live here, like I would,
Even I felt that way. Like I had never been to Rishikesh until 2022 when I went to India for to visit family and happened to have an opportunity to go, and I went and I was like, oh my god, like I never was here for so many years in my life. I should have gone earlier.
Did you practice any yoga while you were there?
No, unfortunately not.
We didn't. Well, we practiced yoga like with Brian and Victoria that led the retreat with us, but I did want to like practice at like some different studios and we weren't able to in Rishikesh. There was like a small part of the group that did try to go practice somewhere, and they went and like the person like never showed up, I guess, or it was like a ghost. But,
they got ghosted.
Yeah, they got ghosted by a yoga teacher. But it was really beautiful. There's like that walking trail that's by the Ganga.
Yeah, the Julas, like which are across the river. Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know. It was almost like a walking path that was like on the river, like next to it. So there's like the beach part, and then there's like the little path. I don't know. It was very pretty.
Yeah, actually, I know what you're talking about. I've seen those too. There are ashrams on the side. Yeah. And then Rishikesh was 3 days? 2 days?
No, I want to say we were in Rishikesh for a little while longer.
Okay.
I feel like maybe I'm missing a city because that's only there. It was a lot of travel because there was like night trains and like some of the train rides were kind of long in between. Yeah, so I did go on a train, which was an experience. I'd never slept on a train before.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was the mode of transport. Like I only boarded a flight when I was 27.
Oh wow. Okay.
That was the first time I boarded a flight.
Okay.
So we used to travel a lot in trains, and the trains now are much nicer than they were then.
Yeah.
How did you like it?
So the train that we went on was like the nicest like class of train that you could get. Like there was AC, there was beds and stuff like that. But when we were on a train, I ended up like we passed another train and I saw what some of like the lower tickets, like people were actually sitting like outside with their like legs outside of the train, like and I was like, holy crap. And it was there was no windows, it was like slats, and so I'm assuming there's no AC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Most trains, like the trains I traveled in back in the day, we didn't even need AC. Like we never thought about. It's okay. The weather's decent. Yeah. It's like 60, 70
Spoiled
degrees.
American. I did. That was something that I did realize. There were certain points in the trip where I was like, wow, I'm a spoiled American. We went to the Hare Krishna. That was like a little detour thing. Their temple. One of the Victoria's, like a big Hare Krishna. Like, wanted to go there. And while we were there, we were like walking towards the city, and in temples in India, you always have to take your shoes off.
That's right.
And so we were getting so close to this temple, there were so many barefoot people, but we weren't in the temple yet. So I went to like one of our guides and I was like, because we're like in the city, do they feel like this whole city is holy and that's like why they don't have their shoes on right now? And she was like, no, they probably don't have shoes.
That's correct.
So that was like, it didn't even occur to me to see so many people without shoes that it's more likely because they don't have shoes and so they're taking it off because it's like holy. And I was just like, when she said that, I was like, wow. I was like, crazy, like.
Yeah.
It made me realize like there's people without shoes that are still making this trip to come to this temple to like, be, whatever, like however devout or to get whatever they're going to get from being at the temple. And it's like at home, I have like 30 pairs of shoes. You know what I mean? Easy. I have 30 pairs. Like, I have 2 feet and 30 pairs.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is true. Like, when you go back and see like the disparity in India, like every other country is a little high too.
But they did say that India has the fastest growing middle class.
That is true.
Of people, and it's like, which I thought was like kind of incredible, but it's because of like technology. Like
technology, And also, we have like 1.4 billion people. So, even if 10% move, we're definitely the fastest. Yeah. So
I didn't even think about that.
That's 140 million people. So
yeah.
I hope everyone moves up the ladder sooner rather than later. But yeah. So now where were we, in Rishikesh or Hare Krishna temple?
Yeah, Hare Krishna temple. I don't know. That might have been in between. It was definitely before. That was very, I mean, there were so many people. That's the most packed temple I went to. It was kind of cool because they also had like some museum aspects, because I actually didn't really know the story of like the Hare Krishnas and like how they came over and like that kind of sense. So that was cool for me to learn. It was like very loud. It was, I would say that that's like the biggest thing with India is like just how loud it is. Like there's no escaping the noise because like there's always honking. Especially like when we were in Varanasi, we did stay in a hotel that was close to the Ghats, and by the Ghats there's speakers.
That is correct.
With prayers, constantly. And then so we go to this like Hare Krishna temple, and like so like opposite. So I'm raised Catholic, and like if you ever gone to a Catholic mass, it's like silent. Like there's like the one priest talking, and then it's like call and response sometimes, and then like sometimes there's music, but most of the time you're just getting like preached to at like the pulpit, Correct. And like when you go to this temple, they were doing, I guess, like mantras, and there was
Abhishek by any chance, like milk or something.
I'm not sure, but it was there was music and people dancing and people on the floor. I mean, it was just like there was like I was trying to like walk around the temple, but there's so many people there.
Yeah, they do that in the Hare Krishna temples. I don't know, I haven't been. Hare Krishna temples. Maybe
and there was I can show you videos. I mean, people were like walking like sardines like next to each other. Like I got a little overwhelmed at one point, and I just kind of like, there were some stairs, and I went to the stair, like on top of the stairs, and I just watched like these massive people like coming through. Like I was a little overstimulated for sure. I went to, oh my gosh, the Taj Mahal.
Oh, you do?
Yes. How did I forget? I went to the Taj Mahal. That was, so we ended up staying an extra day. Where is the Taj Mahal? Is it in New Delhi?
It's in Agra.
Agra. That's the place that I was missing. So we went to Agra to see the Taj Mahal. And then for whatever reason, the day that we got there that we were supposed to see the Taj Mahal was closed. Wow. So we ended up going to the Fort of Agra.
Okay.
We had this amazing tour guide, and he, like the building, like everything that he taught us, it was so interesting, and how like the architecture of India is very influenced by like who was like in control at the time, and like the stories of the different kings, and how one king had these sons, and one of his sons ended up murdering all of his brothers because he wanted to be the king. And then it was the king that built the Taj Mahal for his wife. So instead of killing him because he felt sorry for him, he just like locked him away in this like small part of the palace, that there was like a patio that he could like look at the Taj Mahal, so he could like see where his wife is buried. At least that's like the story. But the coolest part that I think that I learned about the Taj Mahal is that it glows at night.
Yes.
Which I didn't know. It was like, I was like, how does the whole world not know that the Taj Mahal glows at night? Like,
and it's different colors in different seasons, or
no.
I got to know that recently. I haven't been. This is hearsay, so
okay.
I can't wait.
Yeah, so the way that they like built, because the Taj Mahal is marble.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So it's marble, and like the way they made it, like they have semi-precious stones that's like the colors that you see in the Taj Mahal. It's not like painted, it's like jewels. And then like the glue that they used, it's like whatever secret that was like made by these masons, the people that built the Taj Mahal like thousands of years ago. And they lived while they were obviously very close to the Taj Mahal because they were working on it. Well, there's still people that they still use that same technique of like glue making centuries later, like passed down family tradition, and they still live in that area and like fix the Taj Mahal when things are broken, which I thought was so cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's news to me.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. But the Taj Mahal was incredible. Did
you know that the king cut off all the people's hands, those who built it?
No.
Because they didn't he didn't want them to build another Taj Mahal.
I kind of believe it because of the other stories that I heard about the brother killing all of his siblings so he could like ensure he was king. So I don't, you know. The other thing they said was the attendants, because the king had his like main queen, who's the one that's buried in the Taj, but he also had like his consort of like other women or like second and third wives or whatever.
Yes.
Everyone that took care of them either had to be like a woman or a eunuch, and people that were like in their like room or like bedroom to take care of them had to be like deaf, so they couldn't overhear their conversations. Now this is what a guy told me, so if it's not true, sorry, I'm just regurgitating information here.
Now, did you also go to Neem Karoli Baba's ashram?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I think that was an extra, like people who stayed.
Oh yeah, so that was like the add-on if you wanted to. I did not, just because at that point I didn't pay for it, but at that point I was kind of like, we were there for about 2 weeks and I was like ready to come back home. The one thing that I will say that when I go back I would like a little bit different of an experience is we were on a very strict diet, and I think that was within reason because we're doing a lot of traveling and they don't want us to get sick, so we could only eat like what this guide people would order for us.
Oh, I was going to go there next saying, how did you enjoy the food? But I guess you did not.
I ate a lot of paneer. Like a lot of, like everything was, you know, like some curries, but it was a lot of very like similar dishes every place that we went. And we would go to like when we were in Varanasi, we went to like the same restaurant on like more than one occasion. Okay. And I get it because like no one wants to be sick.
Correct.
I did not want to be sick, but I also wanted to like taste the flavor of the country, you know. I definitely got the experience, but when I go back, I definitely think that I'll be.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Like this time you can do South India.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
no, and I would totally go back to India.
Yeah.
Like it was. Welcome. I don't know if I'd go back to like northern India where I went just because I've been there.
Correct.
But I definitely think it was a great way to experience India was going with a travel guide, because I feel like I'm pretty not traveled, but I've gone to other countries and you know, and I can speak English and Spanish, so I feel like I could, like, all the countries I went I could kind of navigate. This was really like the first country where I felt like totally overwhelmed at times, where I was like, I'm so glad I'm not by myself right now, because I don't know if I would have handled it well. Like going to the train station, that would have been like really difficult by myself. I know.
There are you know, now India, a lot of people, you know, can understand and speak, so you shouldn't have a problem. But yeah, it was your first time. Maybe next time when you're there, you can navigate. Yeah,
I definitely think like if I were to go to India again, then I would feel confident enough to like go by myself.
Correct. You should do like the west coast of India, like Mumbai, Goa. Goa has a lot of yoga studios and yoga teacher trainings now. Maybe you don't need a teacher training. But
I actually am considering doing a yoga teacher. I'm not certified, but I am considering it.
Yeah, I was.
But you know,
I was. Yeah, and so you were back. Like, how did you feel when you come back? So
I felt it was like such a shift. Like I went from like, you know, because I was journaling every day. We were practicing yoga for sometimes 2 hours a day, meditating. And I really felt like I got a couple books about like Tantra, like the goddesses. I really like that about like Hinduism, that there's like female and male gods and goddesses, and they're both treated like just as like auspiciously. I feel like the female form is like really worshipped and adored in India, and I don't feel that way from American. Like Christianity, like there's not like in Catholics we do like not worship, but we do, you know, pray to the Virgin Mary and things like that. But it's not like in India. So I've continued a lot of like the good practices that I went home from India from. Like I still wake up from anywhere from 4 to 5 a.m. every day.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's very good.
Yeah, I meditate in the morning. I say my mantras. I did do like a Hindu astrologer. Okay. And like he gave me some insight, and so he said he actually wanted to do a puja on me because I had some type of like bad energy, I guess.
Was it like related to snakes or something?
No, it was something about, it was like why I'm never satisfied. He was like, if I didn't, because it was in it was in my Mars or something like that. Like, cause they do it by.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. It was in my Mars, and he's like, you're never satisfied, and he goes, and you're never gonna be satisfied unless you clean this.
Okay.
And he said, but the puja was very long. It would take a whole day, and it would be very expensive. And I was like, okay, well, what can I do that's like medium? So he said that I needed to worship Mars and pay like mantra to him. And Mars is about like wisdom and words, and then I needed to use my words more.
Okay.
And so like the mantra is Om Aim Boom Buddhaya Namaha.
Okay.
And so that's, I say my mantras like in the morning, meditate, journal, eat breakfast.
Can you say the mantra again?
It's Om Aim Boom Buddhaya Namaha.
Okay.
And what they like the words mean, I can't tell you anymore, but I did like look up each, you know, like Om is like the root word of like everything of all love. One of them is like related to like wisdom, but it's to Mars.
Okay.
And then I got an emerald. He said I need to wear more green, and then I needed to wear an emerald on my right pinky.
Okay.
And it needed to be 2 carats because of how bad this thing was for me. And I said, well, 2 carats is too expensive. So he goes, well, work up to 2 carats.
Okay.
He said, buy a little one now, and when you get more money, you buy a bigger one and a bigger one. So he wants a 2-carat emerald on my pinky. So now I have my little emeralds.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I start with a little one. And he said that as I get more money, I can get a bigger and bigger one.
Yeah, of course. That'll fasten up the process, I guess.
Yeah. But I was just like, he was like, this is bad. And I was like, oh God.
All right, Anneliese. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this was
awesome.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're most welcome to come back next time to
I
South
would love
India.
to. Absolutely. I'm going.
Sure.
I'm there.
Yeah. All right.
We have to say goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye. Until next time. We'll have another one then. Anneliese is doing acro yoga.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay.